My name is Nick Allen. I'm president of the HEMA Club at VCU, and today we're going to talk about Longpoint. So Longpoint is a really important guard. Sometimes it's also called Langport for the German name, and this guard is designed to create distance and to threaten your opponent with the point. So all you have to do is take Fool and raise it up. There's a really easy way. Sometimes I see people confuse this with Fugue, which is out here. There's a really easy way to tell if you're in Longpoint or Fugue. Fugue, your pommel is actually on your hip and your elbows are tucked in on your body. With Longpoint, your elbows are off the body and your arms are bent like this. This is what it looks like from the front side on the right. And this is what it looks like on the side. Notice how my body is evenly distributed and my weight is put slightly forward. That way I can get that tip out just a little bit further. This is what it looks like on the left side and side view. So this guard is fantastic for creating distance, like I said. This point is an active threat, and it's really easy to articulate this point and extend it a little bit like this. Notice how much I'm getting with such a simple movement. And this is a great way to be able to force them back or to be able to transition into other guards. A really important aspect of this guard is that your sword is very far away from your body. When it's tucked in close like this, it's a lot harder for people to get at the blade. But out here, it's very easy for them to engage it, either with a crumpow or just with a conventional binding. And then they can use that while your sword is engaged to close the distance. So that's something to be aware of. The transfers for this one are very simple. It's just like Fugue and Fool before it. All you're doing is keeping your point online as you step. And make sure that you're doing those oblique passing steps. And then for the gathering step, make sure that you're thrusting with the blade itself. Because the point of this guard is to create space. So you're trying to get as much distance as you possibly can. I've even seen some people with a non-dominant hand actually let go and go out in a one-handed thrust and come back in. So the entire transfer looks like this. Transfer, transfer, gather step. And then you go backwards. Transfer, transfer, back step. Make sure that you do that thrust with a back step, just because, like I've said before, when you're stepping, that's when you're most vulnerable. This is when your weight is distributed in such a way that it's easy to be thrown or tackled. So that's why you're actively threatening them with the point as your feet close the distance. Let's do that on the side view. So this is it on the right side. All you're doing is transfer, transfer, step. Going backwards, transfer, transfer, step. Historically, actually, I've seen several people theorize that the reason that it's up like this is because back in the day when these swords were used, the slits on knights' helmets were usually horizontal, and so you would be trying to slip the blade into the actual eye socket in order to neutralize the knight in full armor. The last thing to note about Longpoint, again, is that your blade is very far out, which is both a blessing and a curse. Make sure that you're using your footwork to be able to manage that distance as well as your sword. You can easily pull it back into Fugue and back up a bit, and then suddenly spring out back into Longpoint. This guard is very easy to use with Fool as well as Fugue and Longpoint. An important note is that my thumb is not actually on this shield. That's because if it was up here, it's a little bit harder to do that articulation rather than having it down here where you can almost have it like a handshake grip. That's the basics of Longpoint. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll talk to you guys later.